So a few months ago I read the book Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and for those who are about to click out because you don't know who Marcus Aurelius is, let me just explain to you who he was in a few words, and then I'll get to the topic of this video. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from 161 to 180, and he is one of the leading figures of Stoicism, and he wrote the famous book Meditations, which collects all of his life advice that he held closely. And so Stoicism is the philosophy that teaches that we are not disturbed by events, but only how we respond to them. So in a few words, it's about avoiding having an emotional attachment to things that we cannot control. So most of you have already been on a first date, and you know that feeling you have when you're about to meet that person for the first time? Well, especially for us young men, it's really hard because your heart beats faster, your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Stupid. But that feeling of stress before your first date is quite special. Like, I remember when I was younger, when I went on my first date ever, that I had those feelings but times 10, and it was really tough. When I wanted to go for the first kiss, I just froze, and that's something that happened quite a lot to me when I was younger. I would literally just freeze and get paralyzed in stressful situations. But it can mess a lot of things up, so you definitely want to have control over your emotions so that you can take the best decision at any given time. So hey, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and you turn the notifications on. I have to practice more tongue twisters. But anyways, here are the 4 quotes from the book Meditations that have really helped me stop stressing. So if I were to summarize the teachings of Stoicism, I think I would use this quote, because what's really powerful with it is that in the end you understand that you can't control outside events. For example, you can't control whether the economy is going to be good or bad in the next 6 months. You can't control whether someone loves you or cheats on you. You can only control things that you have power over. And for example, you can control how much you study, you can control how much you earn, and you can control how often you go to the gym. And by taking this perspective, you only have to worry about things that you have control over. I think that Stoicism has a lot to do with personal responsibility, because since you're focusing on things that you can control, it is of your duty to perform at your best. Any negative or mistakes that you make are to be blamed only upon you. And so this quote has helped me stress less, because too often than not, stress comes from these outside events. And so if you detach yourself from these outside events that you don't have control over, if you don't care about their outcomes, then you will relieve a lot of stress. This one is one of my favorites as well. I think it's very important that we constantly try to seek truth. And you have to be able to distinguish between an opinion and a fact. And it seems that nowadays both are quite intertwined, so it's very important to distinguish both. And the reason why I think seeking truth is so important is because you will be aware of what's happening around you. If someone lies to you, it may feel good in the short term because you heard what you wanted to hear. But the problem is that eventually you will discover what the truth was, and it will crush you. Not because the truth hurts, but because you realize that you got played. If you seek truth though, you will certainly be hurt, but eventually in the long run you will be grateful for it. We try too often to find a bit of pleasure everywhere, but that makes us so vulnerable because we let others know that we prioritize comfort above truth, and that in itself is wrong. So seek truth. I think that this quote by Marcus Aurelius is really powerful because it helps you understand where your stress and where your anxiety come from. External situations such as social pressure or work-related stress do provoke stress, but it's really how you react to them that determines your level of anxiety. If you had to present a project in front of hundreds of people, you could either be very worried or very calm and relaxed because you understand where your stress comes from. And so in essence, it's really in your own mind that you create anxiety. And it all comes back to what we discussed earlier. Only worry about things you have control of. So if you're someone who often cares about what others think of you, then this may be a good quote to reflect upon. People will always have an opinion of you, good or bad, but you have to realize that it's just that, just an opinion. In the second quote, we discussed about how opinions are different than truths, so remember that when someone is talking about you. Why is it that some people can take as many punches in the face, but others, when someone criticizes them once, they get very emotional and stressed? Well, it's because the person who can take as many punches as possible, they give no weight to what people think of them. On the contrary, we often care too much, and that leads to stress because we don't want to disappoint. So one exercise that you can try out whenever someone is talking about you is to, first of all, understand that it's just an opinion, and then literally tell yourself, so what? You have to understand that you are on your own life mission anyways. You need to get to that mindset of, so what? You know, if someone says that they hate you, so what? If someone says that they admire you, so what? You have to focus on yourself and give no weight to what other people think of you. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching until the end. I know that this video is a bit different than the ones I usually do because I like to add cinematics and different like B-roll videos. But this one was a different style, so let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Make sure you subscribe and you turn the notifications on. And with that said, stress less and see you next time.